Now we're going to look at linear equations that are perpendicular to each other. And so the parallel lines that we did in the previous videos, those have the same slope. With perpendicular lines, which we are referring to lines that intersect to form right angles, it just so happens that the slopes of all perpendicular lines are opposite reciprocals of each other. By opposite, I mean that one is positive and one is negative, okay? And by reciprocals, I mean that we reverse the numerator and the denominator. So both of these will be true, okay? So let's look at how we can determine if two lines are perpendicular. We're going to use the same steps that we did with parallel lines. We're going to look at the slopes of the two lines, and then we're going to look at the equations of the two lines. Again, this is probably not going to be given to you. They're going to give it to you without this and only give you the lines. So you have to know how to use slope formula. Okay, I'll write it again up here. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So these are both having a negative in there somewhere, so it really doesn't matter which one I select as x1, y1. So on this one, y2 minus y1 is going to give me negative 3 minus 3. x2 minus x1 is 6 minus negative 2. So right there, I'm going to have a sign change. Negative 3 minus 3 is like negative 3 and negative 3. That's negative 9. And 6 plus 2 is going to give me, oh, sorry, not negative 9, sorry, negative 6. And 6 plus 2 is going to give me 8. Now that fraction reduces to negative 3/4. Okay, so that's the slope of line 1. Line 2 has these 2 points on there, 0, 2, and negative 3, negative 2. So I'll make this one be the x1, y1 since it doesn't have any negatives, and make that be the x2, y2. So y2 minus y1, negative 2 minus 2, x2 minus x1, negative 3 minus 0. The numerator is negative 4. The denominator is negative 3. The two negatives are going to cancel out, and I'm going to get a positive 4/3. Now, they are reciprocals of each other, okay? One is 3/4, one is 4/3, and one is positive. This one's positive, and this one's negative. So since both of those things are true, then we do have perpendicular lines. Now, if we want to check this with equations of lines, we again have to make sure we get them into slope-intercept form. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to subtract the 2x from both sides. I get 3y equals negative 2x plus 12. And then if I divide by 3, I get y equals negative 2/3 x plus 4. What is the slope of that line? Well, it's negative 2/3. In order for this line to be perpendicular, it has to have the opposite sign, so it's going to be positive, and it has to have the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 2/3 is 3/2. So it has to be positive 3/2. Okay? So let's solve it and see if that's what we get. Y equals negative 3x minus 2. There's nothing to divide. So the slope of this line is negative 3. Those are not perpendicular. So that's how you determine if two lines are perpendicular. Again, we're looking at their slopes, but we have to have a specific relationship that exists among those slopes. So I will do another video in just a minute where we will do kind of the same thing we did with parallel. We're going to learn how to write the equation of a line that is perpendicular to something.